Welcome back to Face the Nation. The release of Brittany Griner from Russia is putting focus on other Americans held hostage abroad, including Emad Shargi, who has been detained in Iran since 2018. He was sentenced without trial to 10 years in prison. Joining me now is his wife, Margaret Shargi, and their two daughters, Ariana and Hannah. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here, Margaret.
I know it's never easy to talk about this, but it's important. There has been a lot that has happened since we last spoke inside Iran and with these hostages released. Bahrain, what was your reaction when you heard that Brittany Griner was released?
I was ecstatic for Brittany and her family. Brittany should have never been detained. She's an American citizen that was in Russia for no good reason at all. And I was very, very happy that she's back home. And it also gives me hope because it means that this can be done for others, such as my husband and other Americans who are held in Iran.
So it's hopeful for you.
Yes, very much so.
Ariana, you know, when Brittany Griner was released, her agent issued a letter. And it stood out to me because they said they will try to help families like yours. In fact, they named Emad in the list of those who are wrongfully detained, held for being American. Also listed Murad Tabaz, Siamak Namazi, who has been detained 7 years now. He was left behind when the U.S. and Iran traded prisoners back in 2016. Do you find that all of you working together is making a difference?
I definitely think so. I mean, we are all a part of this terrible club that no one wants to be a part of. But it's been really incredible to have this family of hostage families of Americans held abroad. And I do think that us helping each other makes a huge difference to get the word out, but also for this amazing support system that we've developed. So I do really sincerely appreciate the fact that Brittany is going to advocate for other hostages held abroad. I mean, Paul Whelan has been held in Russia now for 4 years, I believe, and he's been left behind by 2 presidents. Our dad has been there in Iran for 4 years. So anything we can all do together, I definitely think is more powerful than just one family advocating for their own loved one.
Mm-hmm. Hannah, I know when we all last spoke back in June, you were all publicly asking for a meeting with President Biden and with White House officials.
Yes.
Have you gotten one?
No, we have still not heard from the president. We have not received a meeting with him. We've been asking as a family, along with the other hostage families, to meet with him for quite some time, and I just don't understand why he isn't meeting with us. I think it would make a big difference to sit down with him. I want to tell him about my dad. I want to tell him how scared we are, how pressing this matter is, and how time sensitive it really is. I mean, our father could have been killed in the Evin fire.
This is a fire at a prison where your father's being held back in October.
Yes, so there was a fire and the riots at the prison where he is being held. We didn't hear from him for 2 days. We didn't know if he was alive or not. He inhaled tear gas and smoke from the fires, and it just shows that this is a really pressing issue and there's really no time to wait. We don't know really what's going to happen day to day. So I just want to sit down with the president and tell him our story and ask that he does everything he can to bring our dad home. I mean, we live in Washington, D.C. We'll come anytime he has available for us.
Did you receive any response from the White House to your public calls?
We did. We wrote as the families, Iranian families, the Iranian-American families to the president, and we did get an acknowledgement of the letter, but that was it. And I think that the reason why I would want to meet the president is that since the first couple of weeks in office, he made it a point to say that the hostages are one of his priorities. And since that day that I heard that, I've had this hope in my heart that this president is going to bring Emad home. And yet I have seen no signs. It's just been talk, but nothing really to show us that he's doing anything. or his administration, really, to bring Emad and the other Americans home.
You know, Ariana, with the prisoners in Iran, this is a really tough situation. The U.S. nuclear talks with Iran appear to be crumbling. You have Iran now helping Russia in Ukraine. For the White House, does it raise a risk by meeting with you? Do you think there's a good reason for them not to meet with you? Or do you feel like you're being treated differently?
Frankly, I don't think there's a good reason not to meet with us. I mean, we're Americans, first and foremost, before even just being a hostage family. But also, if Biden and his administration could have the courage and the fortitude to get Brittany out of Russia while Russia is in a war with Ukraine, then I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to get my dad out of Iran. It's clear that they have the skills and the tools to make these difficult negotiations and to make the hard but correct decisions. And so I would just encourage the president to really emphasize with his administration and with the American people that this can be done and it should be done.
He did meet with Brittany Griner's
Correct.
wife and with the family of Paul Whelan.
Correct.
Secretary Blinken and the State Department has to handle a lot of these issues. Have you been in communication with them? Are they more forthcoming?
The State Department has been great. We talk to them often, and I know they have done a lot to bring our father home, but at the end of the day, I think what we really need is the White House to be more involved. That is really where the decision is going to come from at the end of the day. The president has the authority to make these kinds of big decisions, and that's really who we need to speak with now.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I've asked Secretary Blinken in the past, he says these issues are so important to him. He carries a card in his pocket with the names of the hostages. But as he likes to say, the other side gets a vote. Do you get the sense that there is a deal to be made and that there's a choice not to take it? I mean, do you have any sense of where the diplomacy is or any progress with Emad?
I mean, we have always asked and hoped that the issue of the JCPOA and our father's release are separate.
The nuclear deal.
The nuclear deal, yes. But as of now, we have seen no plan to bring our father home. That's what I'd really like to see. Someone say, this is the plan, we are going to execute it. But it seems that at the moment, there is no clear and concise plan to actually bring my dad and the rest of the Americans home from Iran.
And you tweeted the other day a pretty powerful tweet because the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, was asked by a reporter about your dad on the day Brittany Griner was released. And she said she wasn't familiar with the case. You said it was crushing, absolutely crushing to hear that.
Yes, it was definitely hard to hear that she did not know my father's name. She was not familiar with the case and deferred us to the State Department. Once again, she was asked the same question in June and also said that she was not familiar with his name or the case. And I just don't understand how I should have faith that my dad's going to be home if the White House doesn't even know his name.
You know, diplomats I talk to say they are working on this. It is just a very, very difficult situation. But you just want your husband home. How is Emad? How is he doing? What do you know about his state?
Emad is not well. We are not well. Emad is thousands of miles away from us. He's an innocent American being held hostage for no good reason at all. Again, like Hannah said, and we don't hear of any particular plan of how he will be brought home. Again, with everything going on, with the fire, with the protests, Emad is at risk every single day, every single moment. They all are, the hostages in Iran. And we just don't know why the administration doesn't use all the tools they have and the president to just encourage the administration to do what is the right thing. We are behind him. I hope that we ask all the American people to be behind the president to help support, bring Emad and the other Americans home.
It's for you. This is not at all political.
No.
You just want your dad back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a humanitarian issue at the end of the day. It's not a political issue. These are Americans and they just deserve to be home with their families. So it's not political really. It's about people at the end of the day.
I mean, we're coming up on the 4th or 5th holiday season without him?
Fifth.
Yes.
Yes.
And it is on the way here, actually, I was telling the girls, oh, wouldn't it be fun to go get a Christmas tree this weekend or today or something? And it just wouldn't be fun. And we have not gotten it. And we are waiting for Emad to come. And it happens that, in fact, December 24th is also our anniversary, and yet another anniversary to be spent where Emad is in jail and I am here. So we just want Emad back home.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with that, and we will keep following your story. Thank you so much for talking about your dad and your husband.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.